Minister, I understand that Minister McHugh can't be here, but it is disappointing that he's not here. I don't mean that disrespectfully to yourself, but it just is disappointing that he's not here to hear this, because it is an issue that I have raised with him on several occasions. If I could just illustrate by way of example, so I'm not going to use the child's name, but his parents have written to me to say that, that it's a source of great and ongoing concern for them, the fact that their son cannot get a place in the local school. They have a connection to the school that goes back to the very founding, when it was originally a De La Salle in 1947, and they have relatives that were attending that school right throughout. They have tried to secure an alternative place in other schools, but in Ardgillan there's a waiting list of 190 plus. In Rush, in St Joseph's, there's a waiting list of 70 plus. And because of the fact that they don't attend any of the feeder schools for those two schools, they are going to be at the bottom of the list. Another parent corresponded with me. She says, when the first lottery was done, I got a letter to say my child was 17th on the waiting list. And she was hoping, and indeed, her fingers were crossed, that some of the girls would choose to go to the Loreto and her son might still get a place. The second round, only 8 places were offered. He has since moved to 7th, but still they are gravely concerned. And I received a response to a parliamentary question that says, I can confirm to the Deputy that my department is in receipt of an application for additional accommodation from Skerries Community College. But I want to ask, is that going to be in place in time for the 2020 September intake? Because already there are parents who are gravely concerned, not just that their kids can't go to the local school, but that there will be no school place for their children. Now, that's an unacceptable situation to find ourselves in, and this is an issue that has been raised. North County Dublin is a growing area. There's building going on. I live in Skerries. There's building going on all over, and yet we don't seem to see any sense of urgency on the part of the department to get schools built and to accommodate these children.
Thank you, Deputy. The Minister is 4 minutes.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Deputy Louise O'Reilly and Deputy Brendan Ryan. And I am sorry that Minister McHugh isn't here. I have been given an answer by the department, but if I can say to you that I will go back with the extra information, and I'll make sure that Minister McHugh contacts you both yourselves. Just the other piece is, I have been a school principal probably for about 18 years, so I actually understand the issues all around education. So anyway, thank you for raising the matter, and it does give me the opportunity, and that's the Minister, for Joe McHugh, to set out for the Dáil the situation around school places in North County Dublin, and of course in particular Skerries Community College. In order to plan for school provisions and to analyse the relevant demographic data, the Department of Education divides the country into 314 school planning areas, and then it uses a geographical information system using data from a range of sources to identify where the pressure zones are for school places around the country and where they will arise. So with this information, the Department of Education and Skills carries out nationwide demographic exercises to determine where additional school accommodation is needed in primary and post-primary level. As the deputies will be aware, the government announced in April 2018 plans for the establishment of 42 new schools over the 4-year period from 2019 to 2022, and that included 5 new primary schools and 3 new post-primary schools in the North County Dublin Fingal area. So in addition, 4 new primary and 7 new post-primary schools were established in the area in recent years. So the requirements for new schools will be kept under ongoing review, and in particular will have regard for the increased rollout of housing provision as outlined in Project Ireland 2040. In addition, the Department's capital programme provides for devolved funding for additional classrooms, if required, for schools where an immediate enrolment need has been identified or where an additional teacher has been appointed. The Department of Education is aware of the enrolment issues in the Skerries area for 2020. In this context, the Department is in ongoing direct contact with the patron of Skerries Community College in respect of the capacity in the school. Skerries Community College has expressed a willingness to increase its long-term projected enrolment to 1,000 pupils. It is in this regard that interim temporary accommodation has been approved for Skerries Community College, pending the assessment of future accommodation needs. The patron of Skerries Community College is currently tendering for the interim accommodation approved. It is expected to have all interim accommodation in place for September 2020. The assessment process to determine the school's permanent accommodation needs is nearing completion. The provision of any additional accommodation on the site must be carefully planned, considering the limitations of the site. And whilst I do understand that the enrolment situation may result in some pupils not obtaining a place in the school of their first choice, the Department's main responsibility is to ensure that the existing schools in the area can, and between them, cater for the demand for school places in September 2020. Thank you.